Welcome to the From the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's a Twitter-like whore, an Instagram thirst trap, and your grandma's guilty pleasure. Beef loaf. A West Coast attitude in a decidedly Midwest body, My Sock Summer. And your host. He's sharing obscure music thoughts to give you time to hit the bathroom. Terezi E.
Thank you, Cornsey. Welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beef Loaf says allegedly, or that he wrote a blog about that, you drink. If My Sock Summer doesn't know a player or mentions his time on the West Coast, you drink. If I swear or say here's the thing, you drink. And if you tip us $1.08, we'll all drink. Also, if you tip us $5, you could choose any one of us to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
All right.
If Sal wasn't such a cheap bastard, I'd already been shut up. So,
Fellas, I got to ask you. What are you drinking? Beef, what are you drinking tonight? You're not drinking?
Man. It's podcast night, so it's Wine Wednesday, baby. We're hitting this, nondescript wine, no free ads here. I just had my rigatoni a little while ago. And we're backing it up with a famous Diet Cola chaser. I'm feeling good tonight, boys. Feeling very good tonight.
I love the Diet Cola chaser.
I am drinking right now. I started off with the High West whiskey, and it's the double rye. I'm feeling a little rye tonight.
I almost pulled that off the shelf, but then I knew I was going to let people pay us to make us drink.
Oh, nice. So this is good. I mean, I like it. I mean, it's a great. You turned me on to it, Terezi, and I appreciate that. What are you drinking?
I've got the Maplewood Pulaski Pills, and then I'm backing that up with some Tecates. You know, it's a leftover beer night for me. It's a leftover beer night.
Wednesday, hump day is that day for you?
I mean, you guys, if you've been closely following what I'm drinking throughout these podcasts, those are my last two. What are you drinking? They're just left in my fridge now.
Nice.
Got to clear that out, man. Got to clear it out. Make room for new stuff. Every so often. So I see. There's someone in our comments here, and it's this fella, this chugging with fresh. Like I don't know if you've been paying attention. Like if you're not following this dude on Twitter, I want you to follow this guy on Twitter because he's chugging like Bourbon County stouts and like cup of breakfast and stuff. Like it's impressive. Who?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're gonna drink on that one.
Thank
Lil
you.
Yump, thank you.
Cheers, Yump. That's nice.
Ooh, it tastes so good.
For that amount of money, Yump, you could tell one of us to shut up for 5 minutes. But so
Terezi, he's driving the show right now.
Beef, since you don't have to shut up, how you doing tonight?
You know what? I got a little enraged this evening.
Wait, engorged or enraged?
Well, I'll get to the engorged part.
Okay.
But I got a little enraged because I saw that this stupid cocksucker motherfucker has our name in his mouth again, talking shit about us. I'm not going to say who the person is or what they were even talking about, but it got me irate momentarily. And then I just laughed because I remembered my philosophy on stupid people, and I want to share it with the whole group. I don't normally opine on what I do with my life or how I choose to do things, but I have this specific philosophy on stupid people, and I thought I would share it with you guys. I love stupid people. Okay, most people get so upset, and stupid people bother them and inconvenience them in a lot of ways. But I love them so much because how can an average person like me get by if there weren't so many stupid motherfuckers out there? I look at it like, look, this is how I'm going to get over on life. How could someone of average intelligence have the top-rated Minority White Sox podcast, have the number one rated Chicago sports hot tub show, if it weren't for so many stupid motherfuckers out there? And the way you do it is you kind of engineer your life. You just try not to do what they do. You don't even have to do anything particularly smart. All you got to do is kind of get out of the way. I'll give you an example of how you maneuver around stupid. And I remember, I was not like top of my class in school or anything like that, but I knew people would do stupid things And then they would move out of the way, and then my life would be much better. I mean, how would I have, a nice looking home and an incredible wife? It's the stupid people. They did stupid things to themselves, and I moved out of the way. An example. Yeah. And this is not, I didn't do this to a stupid person, but he was doing something extremely stupid, and I was taking advantage of it. I was in the Bahamas. This was probably 15 years ago. My father-in-law took us on a trip, and me and my brother-in-law think it's a great idea to play tennis in 90-degree weather in the Bahamas, okay? So we're playing tennis. Now, my brother-in-law has played a lot more tennis than I have. I had just kind of barely learned or whatever and played a little bit. And I am whooping my brother-in-law's ass by doing the most simple thing, not trying to do anything fancy and letting him make all the fucking mistakes. Until my father-in-law, watching this for 45 minutes, starts cracking up. And he turns to my brother-in-law and goes, "You realize what he's doing to you, right?" And he goes, "No, what?" He goes, "He's not doing anything. He's making you move and do everything. You're not making him do anything." And once he settled his game down, stopped trying to do fancy shit, he beat the shit out of me like he normally should have because he was better than me. Just maneuver around the dumb. Let the dumb do their dumb things that they're supposed to do. And that's why I've always loved and embraced stupid people. I know they're going to do something fucking stupid, and it's going to be worse for them and better for me. So I want you to change your thought process on stupid people. They can be annoying, but just remember, they're there so that you can be better off. That's why we need stupid people.
I feel like, first of all, I love this philosophy, right? And I agree with it. And I do like to watch what stupid people do. They're out there very publicly often doing stupid things, and you can just go, "I'm not going to do that. That looks stupid." And so I appreciate that. I also will admit, though, I'm a pretty stupid person. So I'm the one that said, "Hey, let's put this little tip thing in here. See if anyone, gives us like $1 to take a drink." We're already getting naked. Like there's already nudity on the way. I mean, like we're getting the t-shirt contest going here. It's I don't even know what's going to come next. I'm worried that Billy Wires is going to figure out how to get his credit card in there, and then all bets are off.
Yeah. Hopefully, his wife's at work with the credit card, so then do that. Oh wow!
We've been overruled here.
Badly.
You gotta keep your shirt on. Now my sex summer. There's been a donation.
$22, sir. That's unbelievable.
So we had Zvo try and get
to do
shirt
it too.
out.
Yeah.
Nathan Sheba says keep your shirt on. I love it. My sex summer, how you doing? Other than being fully clothed, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. And I don't know if you guys saw this, and you probably did, Cherizi, because you're an aficionado when it comes to music. There was a tweet today by Riot Fest, and speaking of stupid people, a guy who's a Cubs fan had said, response to their lineup release today, said, "Only a couple good bands I like, not worth sitting through all the rest for 1 or 2 sets." And the Riot Fest main account replied to him and said, "Then don't fucking go. I'm sure there's a street festival or something you can go to instead." And I was like,
I love it.
I was like dying. I was like, yes, that's hilarious. And, this kind of rolls in with what you were saying, Loaf, because the guy goes on, somebody goes, the guys don't care if you go to their festival or not.
and that thing's going to sell out.
Yes.
Riot Fest is going to sell out. They're not going to have a problem selling tickets.
Right. The guy said, no, they do, because they need people to buy tickets, and people like me won't buy tickets, and then they'll never have a festival again. And it's something that's a common theme. Loaf's talking about a guy that's pissing him off, and he's like a 0.00001% of our followers, and it's something that irks us, right? I know when we talked with Goose about things, that they focus on the one person being negative, not the 20 billion people being positive. And it's funny because that's one, and I saw it come to life in this tweet. Like, no, dumb fuck, we don't care about your $150. We'll get somebody else's money. We don't need yours. But that is not how I'm doing. I'm doing good. Tomorrow is I had to bring this up. My daughter, little Miss Shortstop, said I had to talk about this, and she said, "Dad, make sure you tell everybody it's my birthday tomorrow," which going to be 6. And then she also said, "Tell them tonight at baseball practice." Well, I was playing third base. She was playing hot corner. What they were doing, which I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't die. And she didn't. She blocked the ball. Everything. It was pretty good. she came. I was behind home shagging balls because we were on the grass field. There was no backstop, and she came screaming over at me, red face, tears streaming. She goes, "Dad, Dad!" And she throws her foot out. She had 27 red ants on her foot. She was standing in an ant,
my God.
just sort of like eating her up. So I had to go and brush those all off, and she was fine, and she then went and hit the fucking ball off the tee. She was good. Now, because it's her birthday tomorrow, those are the things I had to say as a corporate podcaster. I had that my daughter asked for that. Now, tomorrow it's her birthday, so we are bringing. Thank you all, everybody, for all this. So it's only $6. I don't even feel like we need to do that. I don't know.
I'll do it.
So tomorrow we're bringing treats. So I announced to the other coaches. I go, hey, we're bringing treats for the kids tomorrow because it's May's birthday. We'll have cupcakes and juice boxes. And one of the dads goes, and the adult cooler? And I go, oh yeah, we'll bring the adult cooler. So I'm thinking, like, okay, what am I going to bring, right? Like, I don't know what mix I'm going to make. Because while we're standing there, normally the one guy, his coach, he's got a Mitchell's hat on. So I'm like, he loves beer. He probably likes Miller Lite, whatever. I'll put in some just regular ass old beer. And then the other guy goes, I was watching a game the other night. I was sitting there with the canned vodka sodas. And I was like, oh, maybe I do need to bring a couple Vizzies and put some of that shit in there.
They're baiting my sock summer to upgrade what he was going to bring. Yep.
I'm like, I don't know. Now I'm confused. So what would you guys suggest? And now this is the first
There's good
adult
suggestion
cooler.
from the comments.
Now, this is the first adult cooler of the T-ball season. I am responsible for it. What should be my mix? Should I go half and half? There's 4 coaches, and there's going to probably be more dads there. So I feel like I need at least a 12-pack of beer, probably. And then I don't know what else I got to do after that. So what do you think I should put in there other than like just a 12-pack of like some type of domestic swill?
So I think the domestic swill should be High Life. I think that's always a good gauge of like if you want to have some beers with somebody. If
I don't have any left.
They pop open that cooler and they go, "Ooh, High Life, baby." That's a good dude. You want that dude on your side. And then I think you put some, you get some of the other stuff like the seltzers, like ask the wife.
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico. The ladies seem to love it in the 108. It's a big hit.
I'll be honest, Treasy, you're disappointing me a little bit right now. You're not asking the most important question that you could possibly ask when you're bringing a cooler out to Donovan Park for Little League. The question is, how many Rolands are on the team, and how many of their family and parents are going to be there? Because you're getting there. You're getting to that. Okay, let's making sure. Okay.
I was actually just going to ask how many West Bridgeporters are going to be involved here, and if there's West Bridgeporters like me and Beef, we grew up on the west side of Bridgeport, and hey, if you don't know Bridgeport. These are very different parts of Bridgeport. Me and Pete grew up on the west side of Bridgeport.
It's a little
you better have
part.
At least one bottle of Blue Hawaii Boone's Farm in there and some cups.
That's the chaser right there.
And some cups.
We gotta have the cups. You can't be. It's COVID times. You can't have.
You can't. Yeah, no one's ripping the bottle.
Yeah.
No one's doing what? Beef.
I mean, Billy said it's $6. $6 is $6. All right, motherfucker.
That's true. That is pretty good.
I'll do what I gotta do out here. Yeah, no. Back in the day, when we played softball with Treasy and I and a couple of the Roland brothers. I won't name them by first name because I don't want to besmirch their good names. But we would play for Slim Mick in softball. And after the game, we had to have a second cooler so that we could sit there and watch the second game that was after us and drink that entire cooler, the 4 of us just standing down the foul line. So West Bridgeport does a little different. So just figure out the demographics of the crowd, my sock summer. You might need a second cooler.
Yeah.
I love this comment. Don't forget the toothpick, my sock summer.
I got tons of toothpicks. Don't worry about
it. Mad Dog 2020 offering. A lot of Cutwaters. A lot of Cutwaters are there. K Finn says, don't chug them. I think our guy Fresh would chug one of those. I don't think he's gonna have a problem with it.
Are the Pinwheels and Ivies folks like watching the show while they're live?
K-Fid says that he is watching. Hold on. There's a comment from him. He said, "I decided to ignore our podcast tonight and join this chat." How's the post?
I believe that
He's a
actually.
character, man.
Yeah. Did he get sent to the farm too, like our old buddy Frank Schweidel or whatever the fuck that dude's name?
Schwindel was gone. Schwindel was
Schwindel.
only down for like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
really?
brought him back
Oh.
immediately.
Nice. All right. Teresa, how
Josh,
how are
you
you
are
doing?
on. Josh is saying he prefers New Bridgeport. Josh, you are part of West Bridgeport, my friend. That's you're
But
you're
it is kind of like it's not the way it was.
Kinda new.
It's different.
It's kinda
you know?
new, yeah.
Morgan Street. You couldn't walk down Morgan Street back in the day. Now it's like it's very nice. So
It's nice until like a couple bullets goes winging by your head when you're at Anti-Taco, and then it's kind of like
whatever. So
pussy.
I read that Onion article. 80% of the air in Chicago is bullets.
Well,
How am I doing my sex summer? I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. And I
Awesome.
you know, our friend Josh is in the comments right now. We did something I thought was pretty awesome last night with Josh and Jim, and I'm hoping we're gonna loop my sock summer in the near future. We did this like live broadcast over the game, right? Like so you can listen to you know Steve and Jason if you wanted, or you could have them real low and have us just talking some smack the whole game, talking all kinds of different topics, music, I think that's all I talked about. Music, baseball. But like, you know, we were just kind of going into a bunch of different stuff. And I had a great time. It was a short game.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be even more fun when, you know, we're really getting into some stuff deep, when we have a long inning or something, you know, and you're really getting into some topics. I had just a blast. And I think one of my favorite parts, Beef, was the most hated baseball player from the opposing team, like of all time.
Yes, the Cleveland.
There was some great one because like Jim just went deep into like he just like listed off everyone that he didn't like from the team for the past 40 years. It was pretty awesome. It's like he had thought about it before. Like he has like the guy in Billy Madison with the list on his wall. Like I feel like Jim has that list for each team. So
And someone in the
looking forward
comments
to
brought up Jose Mesa, and he talked about how he loved Jose Mesa because Jose Mesa hated Omar Vizquel. So, because that guy hated the other guy, he by default really loved him. So,
But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. We're gonna do it every Tuesday. So it's on something called Playback. If you go into I put some links in the bottom here of this video. Go check that out. And there's links to MSS doing bobbleheads. There's links to us doing playback. So go make sure you see all this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
And before you say it, Billy, I'm not actually doing the bobblehead. It's me talking about bobbleheads, not doing the bobblehead.
Now, would you for $6 is the question.
Maybe like $66. We'll see. But so I got two questions about last night because I wasn't obviously watching it. Or one thing, can you watch it after the fact, or is it just live one time only? You can only hear it that time and that's done.
I don't think you could watch it back. I didn't see a way to do that. It's more like watch party style, where you're just, it's kind of like a live thing. It's kind of like how Spaces was until they ruined it.
Yes, like a piece of performance art. Second question I have, is it only going to be home games or will there be away games also?
No, every Tuesday game.
Oh, every Tuesday game regardless.
Yeah, and then we're also going to do some national broadcasts. So the Sunday night against the Yankees, not the Sunday game against the Yankees this weekend, but the Sunday night game against the Yankees. I think it's the following week. We're going to do that one. I'm hoping that we get the A-Rod cast over like as the feed, because like we're definitely gonna dial that up so we could hear what he's saying and go like, that was stupid, A-Rod. So like there's a lot of opportunity with this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And you can throw me in on this?
Yeah, I think we're gonna, man. Or we're gonna require it.
It's gonna happen. Yeah,
we're gonna require it of you.
Jim approved that? Is this Jim approved? Because like I don't know if he knows the my
I don't ask questions.
I don't ask questions. They tell me, hey, why can't we get My Sock Summer? I say, you can get all of My Sock Summer you want, baby.
Get all his big white stuff all over the place. Yeah.
Well, great.
Speaking of which,
any more of how you're doing or no?
No, that was it, man. You know, just having a good day. I actually I'm having even possibly a better day because, you know, there's some rumors out there that Eloy Jimenez is close to coming back. like 2 weeks away. I don't know how real that is.
I loved it. It came from Hector Gomez.
So it could be total bullshit.
To put it out there.
Could be total bullshit. But
what I don't like is how
74
people
is in play. Is all I'm saying. 74 is still in play.
I mean, this is the funniest thing, because Loaf told me this on the side, and I was like, oh. And then he said, and it was from Hector Gomez, and I go, oh. So it's like, I can't wait till later when Hector goes, yeah, it would have happened if Eloy would have done what he was supposed to do, but he didn't, so he's still out for about 6 months or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, remember when, like, you know, it was a done deal with Machado or Machado, whatever the fuck, that guy that we didn't get, and Manny Machado, and he was like, well, the Sox just didn't do enough to get him. It was a done deal, but then the Sox didn't do enough when it came down. So
not enough. He didn't rehab well enough. So it's going to take 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks.
You know who knows? Isn't Ken like a good friend of his? Like him and Hector like go way back, like they follow each other and stuff.
I have no idea.
I think they did.
That sounds very weird.
We should find. I'm gonna find out.
Do I have to talk to Ken?
That's your homework assignment. You handle that my Sox summer, and then
I'll
you tell
do
us what you find
tomorrow.
out.
God damn it! I got time.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of you having time, do you have any time to do a quick ad read for us, buddy?
Hell yeah, bro! Let's do it. May is the perfect month. Is the perfect month to buy a car. And what's the best place to buy that car? That's right, Mazda of Orland Park, the home of the Zoom Nation. They got all kinds: sedans, SUVs, hatchbacks, sports cars, crossovers. So why do you got to go anywhere else? Yeah, you don't have to. Now, if these gas prices got you freaking the fuck out like it does everyone on Facebook, they even got the electric ones. Introducing the 2022 MX-30 EV crossover. Considering the typical American drives approximately 30 miles per day, the MX-30 was specifically designed to meet their needs. With an EPA estimated range of 100 miles on a full charge, combined with access to a leading electric vehicle charging network, the MX-30 is always ready for what's next. Charging at home and on the go is easy. When connected to a level 3 DC fast charger, you can go from 20% to 80% in approximately 36 minutes. Each MX-30 also comes with a level 1 120-volt charging cable that can be plugged into any neighbor's household outlet, as well as a connector that's compatible with most public charging stations. Simply charge up and enjoy the drive. To check out the MX-30 EV, head over to Mazda of Orland Park at 8910 West 159th Street in beautiful Orland Park. You can check them out online at www.mazdaoforlandpark.com and give them a follow on Twitter at ZoomZoomNation as they give away free Sox tickets with parking all of the time. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Nation. Zoom Zoom.
All right, guys, it's time for baseball talk. But man, the comments just.
What do they say?
Can I do a couple things here really quickly?
Let's lay out some comments.
Both with Billy Wires. Number one, and this is only for people watching on YouTube, I didn't say that, Billy. I'm blaming that on you. I did not say that in the DMs about anyone. And number two, I just want to give you a little taste, Billy. We're going to just show you a little bit here for your $6.
Just the tip.
Is that good? Okay. I think I fulfilled it. All right, go ahead.
I mean, I'm thinking about some of these comments. By the way, there's people coming over from Pinwheels and subscribing and saying hello. So hello, Brent. How are you?
Yeah, hello, Brent. Actually, we should tell our people, go over to Pinwheels and give them a sub. What the fuck? We gotta share this. So if you're in here, go to Pinwheels and Ivy on YouTube right now and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button too. We all smash the like button for each other's shows. You gotta do it.
Subscribe.
If you're interested in seeing
hello and GFY from the boys from the 108.
That's right.
Also, if you are interested, Brent, I don't know if you were here for it, but the bidding is at $12 to get me to keep my shirt on. If you give us $15, I'll take my shirt off.
I kind of want to see those memories. I'm thinking about getting my credit card out.
I worked today, so it'll be okay.
Speaking of Mazda, Brian's in the comments asking if I will eat a Mazda piece by piece for charity. This is awesome because this is one of a very obscure Mr. Show reference, and I absolutely love it. And I just wanted to thank you for that comment. And then I don't know if you've seen this. So Fresh is asking, anyone crap in the truck bed in Cincy yet? Are you guys familiar with the story?
No.
So there's like a I think it's like a Toyota Tacoma on the top of the Cincinnati scoreboard, right? And there's some guy, and I guess he's on Reddit or something, saying that he's going to go climb the scoreboard. He's going to scale the scoreboard, get up there, and take a shit in the truck flatbed. And so we were talking about this the other day, and we were like, wait, so let's say you're doing this, right? Do you have to go up there? Oh my goodness. There's a bare-chested My Sock Summer, which is what we all wanted.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Josh Nelson.
That is pure sex right there. Look at that. There it is. But
so
I like the flexing. That's what you got to do too. Man, can you make your titties bounce?
Oh my God!
I didn't mean like that.
I mean, I'm sorry if you're listening to this podcast. I'm not seeing all of this.
Can't do that.
But so we're talking about this. So let's say you wanted to go up and climb the scoreboard and shit in this thing. What are you doing? Are you going up are you scaling a scoreboard while you need to shit? Like
yeah, I think so.
Or are you like going up there like you don't need to shit, but you've got like a bunch of X-Lax with you? Like, what's the play? Because I feel like if you have like one little slip climbing up there, you might ruin the whole thing halfway up the scoreboard.
I feel like it's got to be a person that has special shitting skills. They could kind of shit on command. There's got to be people like that out there. I mean, it's just the law of averages, Treasy. It's statistically probable that someone out there could shit absolutely whenever they want to.
We were talking yesterday about how hard it is to find someone who could have a high OBP and be really fast. Yeah. And I think it's the same scarcity of people who could shit on command, but could also scale a scoreboard.
Yeah, I agree. It's rare to have that combo, but someone out there's got to be able to do it. I believe it.
All right. Well, speaking of gigantic walls, let's talk a little bit about the White Sox trip to go play the Red Sox at Fenway. Beef, I think you put it best in our agenda here is that the Red Sox were easy prey. They're bad.
Easy prey.
I'm actually shocked at how bad they are, because like you look at the roster and you're like, there's a bunch of good players on this team.
Yeah.
Right. Even the pitching staff, which is middling. Is like you're like with this pitching, you should be okay because the hitting's going to be so good,
right?
But let's talk a little bit about it, because the Red Sox only scored 5 runs in this entire series. So was it the White Sox pitching dominance, or was it the Red Sox hitting futility? Beef, what do you think?
Well, the first thing I think is that regardless of what we decide it is, the people of Boston honestly deserve to eat shit after all the championships that they've garnered in the last 20 years. I couldn't be happier that this team is taking a big steaming crap and not in a Tacoma on top of the scoreboard, but just all over the field. And they're even behind the Orioles right now. You mentioned it last night on the live stream. They're a couple games behind the Orioles. They absolutely fucking stink. What's happening here with the Red Sox, in my opinion, is their futility. And what makes me so happy about it is, their superstars are hitting and coming through like they should. Devers, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez are all hitting the tar out of the ball. What's not coming through for them, and we talked about this a little bit on the live stream last night, is Jim brought up the old school sabermetrics, like where if a GM had a reputation of being good, every move they made was a good move. Until you kind of dug deeper and realized, oh yeah, the good GMs fuck up all the time too. And this is what is making me so happy, is that the genius GM, all of the average-ish players that he plugged in there are all shitting themselves at exactly the same time. So it's fun to watch, like, oh, they got one of the smart GMs, and then he plugged in a bunch of crappy players and the team's no good. They couldn't do anything around the superstar. This is the White Sox model of the pre-rebuild, right? Rick Hahn would try every year to plug in like these average-ish players, and he would get what the Red Sox are getting right fucking now.
Beef, there's also okay, what's up, My Sock Summer? Someone walk in on you shirtless?
No, just walk down here and just goes, me taking my shirt off. Josh Nelson paid me $15 to take my shirt off. First, Justin Spo gave me $10 to take it off, and then Nathan gave me $12 to keep it on, and then Josh said $15 to take it off. So I mean,
What are you gonna do? That's what
confused. Like, I should have not said anything. I was like,
no, you should have just said I was hot. I was hot. It's hot down here.
Just say you're high. Who cares?
Just say I'm Judge Reinhold in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You're lucky you caught me at this point of it.
Yes, like I was getting ready to entertain myself. Yeah,
and Billy Wires. So Beef, you know what was very, very White Sox like of what the Red Sox had done is they said, hey, look, Mookie Betts has no desire to sign an extension. We got to trade him. But we're getting this great guy in return. Absolutely. And now that, not so great. And he like immediately signed an extension. Like if that's not a White Sox move, I don't know what is. So it's nice to see it happen to somebody else.
It is absolutely. And you're right. Verdugo is horrible right now. He's what I wish AJ Pollock was. They wish Alex Verdugo was as good as AJ Pollock is right now. That's how bad Verdugo's been. Like he's been horrible.
They do, and like it's weird because I swear I thought I was gonna like MSS was like, okay, I better put my shirt back on. I just think he left and took his pants off too. But
MSS, now you got to show it. You owe a couple bucks. You got to show it.
But what? Did somebody get some more money?
No.
Oh,
the other thing that I was surprised at is how bad Bobby Dahlbeck looks. Right, Bobby Dahlbeck might just be like a non-guy. Like he might just be a guy that needs to go back to the minors or just kind of go away, which is wild because like I remember a few years ago I was thinking like, man, I'd like to trade for that guy. I don't think the Sox have what it would take to trade for this dude.
Now he looks like a bum out there. Like when he came up, you weren't worried at all. You're like, oh, we're definitely pitching to Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yeah, well, there were multiple times in this series where one of our pitchers threw a four-seamer that got way too much of the plate against Bobby Dahlbeck, and he swung at it like he had never played baseball. It was wild. What'd you think about the series?
Friday night, like I didn't log into Apple TV. I was just not feeling it, and I was listening to the call on my through my T-Mobile phone. And I was listening, and I think it was Friday night that Alex Cora got kicked out, like immediately, like in the first inning or something, right? Like, I think it was that game. It might have been Saturday. I'm not exactly sure. Well, one of the things, it seemed odd to me that it was that early that he was going to go balls to the wall, but then it makes sense when you watch him play. Like he's out there just trying to fire this team up to find something to get this team motivated, and he's like, listen, my Mangy's not doing anything. So maybe I should just go ballistic on this strike call and maybe they'll suck it up and like do something good. And walking into it was like, yeah, this is probably what's happening. Now, I'm not the numbers guy, as I've said many times, and it feels even weirder to say it with no shirt on. But and looked at like their numbers, and what you said, Loaf, is exactly correct. They have 3 guys that are actually hitting the ball. And then everybody else is like sub 225 batting average.
Horrible.
It is all really, really bad. Like rebuild year is bad. And then while I'm at like baseball reference, like I'm looking and like they were in the ALCS last year. Like they this is not like what happened. Like I clearly haven't been paying attention. Did they trade away everybody that they had? And
they added
everyone just shitting the bed at the same time.
Like Trevor Story looks terrible, which is I don't think that's gonna stick. I think Trevor Story is going to be fine, but man, I'm glad to play them while Trevor Story's terrible. That's nice. Like that's one of the things. Like sometimes you run into a buzzsaw, like Josh Naylor buzzsaw right now.
Yeah. Yep.
But sometimes you run into Trevor Story on the coldest streak of his entire life, right? And you gotta enjoy that you get to do that part of it. You know,
right? Exactly.
So
I mean, following up on MSS's point about Alex Cora, I agree with you. It was so weird he got thrown out early, but I don't think it was a motivational tactic. I think he's just so fucking desperate for them to not lose out on anything that they could because they've been so bad. He's just like, I can't even afford to lose this fucking strike. Like, I can't afford to do it. So I think it was just desperation for him for there.
This is not nice.
Were you talking to me, Billy?
Billy. Stop, Billy.
The show's getting very erotic.
So, guys,
it's going to be a great one.
I think we could agree that the Fenway games, we looked good enough to beat a bad team.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And, but it's always cool to go into these historic parks and win games. And I like Fenway as a park more than probably any of the other parks, just because it's so odd, right? Like right field's really weird. And then left field obviously has a gigantic wall that's like way too close to the infield. And like center field's got some weird stuff going on because of that wall and how it intersects. And like the wall along the outfield is like where it's not 100 feet high, it's like 4 feet high. So you could just like fall right into the stands.
Right.
Like all of that is just like so unique and so cool. And like you have to plan your team a little bit differently to go play in these parks, right? Like you would see, like Engel was a much better idea out in right field, just like they have Jackie Bradley Jr. out in right field, who's a good center fielder, and you put him in right field because right field's so awkward. Right. Yep. And so the question to you guys is, how would you like to have something unique like that at Comiskey? And what would it be? Like, what would you want to have there that would be like this unique piece that's like just kind of strange? And like, how would it play? Beef, go ahead. You go first.
Okay. So for me first, like I agree with you. I like the weird dimensions. And I don't like the cookie cutter ballpark that has all the same stuff. Like I like that Boston has the short porch in left field, then they've got the kind of the deep pocket in right field, but then the real short foul pole and all that. Sox Park, we're kind of set up a little bit dimensionally, but I think one way we could make a change is we rip out the center field wall and let the thing go all the way back to where it has the overhang, and you've got like where the fan deck is and ivy. Eloy hit one up in that thing. So that wall is probably like 450 feet back there. I mean, it's deep. But I would put at the 400-foot line, I'd put a home run line and leave it open. And then if people run back there and make the catch over the home run line, it's an out. But if it lands over the home run line and you don't catch it, home run. This way, it's going to open up Treasy. It's going to open up triples in center field. It's going to give you a chance. If the ball goes rolling back there, it's a triples haven all of a sudden.
So let me ask you a question then. So it's a home run line, right?
It's a home run line. Yeah.
But if it bounces and goes past that, it's not a ground rule double.
Correct. It's live. So, it's just live. Yep.
So you could actually have something, if it's on a proper angle, especially if you box it right, that could just have like some weird old bounce all through, bouncing off the sides of the walls and then coming back over the outfielder's head.
Yeah, you'd see inside the park home runs because of that, the weird configuration. But you'd also have like Luis would go back and make a great play and catch one at 438 feet, like back there,
right?
All the way back close to the brick wall or whatever.
I love it. And you should put a trampoline back there too, so you could catch him up in the ivy.
It's like a slam ball mix with yeah.
Mm-hmm. MSS, what do you want on the field?
So like on the field, like see, I read this as like something like in the park, but
wherever you want.
I'm gonna do both. I think that's probably the best answer, but you guys remember Jock Jams that they used to have on MTV? And like they would play basketball, they would play softball, they would play all these things. But they would always have like shoot from here and you get 10 points, or shoot from there and you get whatever. So like instead of it, like because like you guys have said, Comiskey's set up already kind of more of a natural, like easygoing thing. I like it. Like I like the plane, Jane, the 400, 375, all that shit. Give me that. But let's put baskets up. Right, for home runs, right? And if you get one here, like, and it's this far back, like it's 2 runs. If you get one over here, it's like 3 runs, like, and then you have to have a tactician, like hitter, that can go out there and just slam balls. You could see a lot of people coming back and playing baseball that aren't really that good, that could just DH because they know how to hit like up into that area, like it would just. And once again, it kind of gets it into like a slam ball, like novelty sport thing. Like, hey, we're trying for the 10-pointer, right here at the end. Like, we're going to see if big Jock Jaminski can hit like the 555-foot, home run or something. And it's just this big, huge Babe Ruth type guy goes up and just is slamming balls left and right. Maybe allow him to use aluminum bats. I don't know. But if you got nuts behind the plate, put them in front. You can just put little baskets up there. It's a fucking no-brainer. Now,
No brainer.
Things that you can put out in the outfield that I would love. Let's kick it right back to fucking the Arizona Diamondbacks when they opened with Bank. Well, I think it was Chase Field then.
Yep.
Put a goddamn fucking hot tub in section 108. I mean, that's the easiest. Like that is like, it just makes dollars and it makes sense. Sure, easy. Like people down there, photo ops. I mean, my God. I swear to Christ, if Brooks Boyer sees this podcast, which he won't, but if we see to him and we tell him what minute to watch, and he sees me take off my shirt for $16, the dollar signs are going to look like Donald Duck, Scrooge McCluck. He's like, I don't know what you're thinking, love. No, I'm not going to say it. But he's going to look at that and he's going to be like, you know what? I see this. We're going to have MSS down there shirtless during the whole game. He's going to look like a big prune at the end of the game, but no one gives a fuck. He's going to sign shirts. We're making a bobblehead. Bobblehead done for the bobblehead king of the White Sox fans. I'm sorry. I just termed myself that, but that's happening. Like, we need that. We need it to happen. And I can come to every game because I'll be getting $15 tips to sign shirts and shit. So it'll be great. It's the worst idea I've ever had. To be honest,
Tracy, that was a Frank the Tank in the debate moment because MSS just went like, I blacked out, and he had all that good shit in there. Like, you couldn't believe all that stuff he was talking about.
Yes. I would love the hot tub idea. That would be great, man. Like if the only problem is like,
I would.
Let me think about this. Let's think about this. First of all, if we're getting Caesar Sportsbook tattooed on our chests, we got PointsBet's gonna have a problem. PointsBet.com promo code 1080. Yeah. So
exactly. Mike caught it. Scrooge McCluck.
Yeah, he got that. So the only thing about the hot tub is like, if the hot tub was just there, or like, let's say we put it out in 108 and there's nothing keeping anyone else from getting in it, it's going to be like that picture where there's like 40 people in the hot tub. Like I don't know if I'm in for that.
And if they leave it out there in the open trees, we got to get the signage up that I saw at the pool in Alabama, where it talks about nobody with diarrhea. Because that's gonna eliminate a big pool of people for sure.
Diarrhea free. All right, that's it.
You cannot have a low taste
like diarrhea. I don't know what that either.
No eating a low taste before you go in the hot tub. You cannot do it.
So my idea, I was thinking, can we maybe get a sponsor with this too? So I was thinking about the Nugenix Rock Hard Slab right in front of home plate. It's in honor of Frank Thomas. It's right in front of home plate, but it's concrete. Just one concrete piece in front of home plate. It's a plaque to Frank Thomas. But think about how much fun that would be. Like if you're a pitcher and you accidentally bounce one in, that thing could go anywhere. Like it just fly up. If you hit the F in Frank Thomas's name, it just shoots off to the side or something. Or if you're a hitter, like think about like you're like kind of a slap hitter, kind of guy. Like,
chop the ball
kind of fast. Try and chop it off that thing. 400 feet in the air. Be awesome. I was thinking about this and I was like, someone should have this. This would be great.
Same thing. You get like, Freddie Five Fingers, fast pitch legend, from over there at Donovan. Like he comes in, he can hit that thing at like 76 miles an hour right on the corner, and it just pops out the Yohan Makata every time. Like he can just be like, boom. Oh, he's fucking out. Oh shit. Now I got to come up and I have to do it again. Like getting a guy that is just like a masterful, serves one purpose, and you just bring him in just to like fuck with Aaron Judge. Every time he's up, he's just like, fuck you, you're not hitting shit. Like pop out the Yohan Makata again. This is good stuff, man. I did not think that this topic would elicit such great ideas from my brain, but it is. And I mean, good job, Loaf. I mean, literally, good job.
Bless you. Bless you.
I got one more for you guys. It's like we all love the Sod Father, right? But I think we limit him. We limit him. We say we don't let him be worth the 2 wins that he's supposed to be worth.
Right.
It's our fault.
Where are we going to always have a problem on defense, man? Where are we always going to have a problem? Left field? Does left field feel like there's no hope in sight that we're going to have? That's why we're going to have the Sod Father's Urban Prairie in left field. It's big, thick bush,
grow out.
Like flowers and stuff.
You say
like
thick bush?
Wild
man, some of the comments are going to love that. Yeah.
That's why Manscaped is going to be the sponsor. So I got this all lined up. But think about it. If we had that, now we can't let it get too out of control. Eloy would get lost in there. Eloy would never show back up. Like he'd go running for a fly ball and you'd be like, we just lost him forever. Just in the ether. But it would even the playing field, right? You couldn't have the years of having Alex Gordon out there playing the Gold Glove left field. No. Because Sean, that
SPF,
level of thick.
No, that's too thick, I think. We got to go a little thinner, like more 80s, a little less. I guess she's early 80s, but yeah, it seems a little thick to me.
Yeah, we're going 80s, not 70s.
Not 70s.
But it's a prayer.
80s was still pretty.
Yeah,
it was, but
so
it wasn't the same though. MSS, it kind of it was getting there. There's starting a little bit of a change. Not
you could lose a ball in there, not both.
There was mostly blinds in Playboy during those years, so it didn't seem as much, but it was probably just as thick as
That's more like it. SPF,
whatever the fuck.
Let's. Did you guys have any more for that one?
Oh, that was
okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Guardians series.
Who are the Guardians?
Actually, talk a little bit more about baseball. But Beef, you asked us a question. You offended me a little bit with this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Are you willing to give Sheets and Pollock the benefit of the doubt due to their Monday night dingers? And then you have to add in the Tuesday night one for Sheets, of course.
Yep. Those dongers.
To answer your question quickly, like I'm actually just holding the whole team to kind of the same standard of do this against real good teams. Like I don't think that we've seen Sheets hit well against pitchers that are not he doesn't hit well against pitchers that are left-handed. We know that, but also against good right-handers. And so it's I'm still like iffy on his value to the team, but I will tell you this, Beef. If he hits a few more home runs over the next few days before Andrew Vaughn gets back, and I will give Mailman Jack his steak sandwich, but
yes.
But if he let's say he goes on a little streak right now, I think that AJ Pollock goes to the IL before they send Sheets down.
Ooh,
I think you send him back to the IL because he looks hurt. But when Vaughn comes back, you might say, AJ, you know what? You're hurt. You're hurt. There's something wrong with you. You need to take 10 days. And then you have a longer time to see what Sheets is doing. And if you want to, keep him up, or if you want to send him down to Charlotte. It's tough to say right now because he has had a good week, but at the same time, there's just a lot of bad so far out of him. And dropping the ball didn't help it.
I separated his outfieldness from this question on purpose.
I know you did. I know you did. But like the underlying question was which one of these guys gets bumped when gets whacked out really when you get Andrew Vaughn back. My Sox Summer, what'd you think about this one?
Well, so the reason those two guys are here, right, is to hit home runs and to assemble like some type of an at bat, right? Like you would hope that those guys are going to hit. They're definitely not here for their defense. I mean, Pollock a little bit. But he's so, like everyone says, he's injury prone. So you can't really count on that, but you feel like when he's there, he's going to make an immediate impact, hopefully with his bat. And that's not there yet. Now, I feel like I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt as like even the guys that have had good bats, like don't have good bats right now. Like they're just starting to come along. So what we saw this last week has been encouraging. So if it continues to trend like this, then I'm okay with it. And I think you have to kind of be there. But defensively, I mean, shit, you're hoping Pollock can cover some ground. They put him in center like a while ago, and that seemed ridiculous. I don't think that should ever happen again. Like, I mean, we have Adam Engel like on the team. Like, put him in center. His bat's just as good as AJ's like right now, especially
right now. Yeah.
Let's let that happen. And Sheets is just out there trying not to embarrass himself. I mean, he's right after Vaughn, like potential Gold Glover, but not really. Like he's gonna, it's bad. But you know what? Maybe that will help him, motivate him to hit a home run. Like, I fucked up. Oh, here, watch me hit 2 home runs in 2 games. I don't know. Like I'm willing to risk it right now. If you're asking if I'm buying or selling, I'm totally buying.
Wow.
For the future, like the future, I'm saying you don't let it go for more than 2 weeks though. Like you move on if it's not happening in 2 weeks.
Beef, what do you think, man? You asked the question, but you give us your answer.
I kind of thought of this in a grander scale. A lot of people thought Gavin Sheets was a serious hitter. I don't know if you guys remember this, the discourse end of last season through the offseason into the early part of this season. They thought he was great trade fodder, like for a real major league player. Yeah. All right. Those were takes on Elon Musk's Bird app over the last 6 months. Okay. But alas, Treasy was basically right that maybe he's just a guy that's just like a quad A guy. And I got a big smile on my face from these last 2 days with him hitting a couple home runs and White Sox fans re-embracing him. And he's basically the beta version. He's the beta version of the 2018 Daniel Palka. That's what they wish they had right now. And they're wish casting all that on Gavin Sheets currently. And I can remember, Palka got so much shit when he went into a slump or whatever, but people would die to have his 2018 season come up as Gavin Sheets right now and have Gavin Sheets hit 27 bombs this year. And I just remember getting into fights with James Fox about because Palka was playing and Zach Collins wasn't playing, and it's kind of all that shit back then. But basically, am I off base? Wouldn't you just love to have him become Palka? Become that 1 year of Palka.
They're doing the exact same thing, right? And so they're saying this guy was basically a first baseman. Now the Twins were the first ones to try and move Palka to the outfield, and then they cut him. And the Sox said, "We'll let him play out in the outfield."
He got nothing else going on. Let's do it.
The difference is that Palka was on a team that was terrible. Yeah. And they inserted him there, and they're just trying it out, seeing if it'll work, seeing if the bat plays. He hits 27 home runs. Now, we get it. There were strikeouts. The on-base percentage wasn't what you wanted it to be, but there were 27 home runs. That is way more than Gavin Sheets is going to hit. They're equally bad in right field, right? And I should say equally good because you're making them play out of position. Right. It's not their fault that you go, you know what? I like the bat. Go play out there where you never played, right? All of these things together, and you look at the two, and if you were to ask anyone right now, would you take a guy with these crappy stats but 27 home runs, or would you take what Gavin Sheets could possibly be this year? Anyone who thinks about it for 2 minutes should say, I'll take the 27 home run guy. Because Gavin Sheets is never going to get to that slugging this year. He's not going to hit 27 home runs this year. He would have to go on a massive heater to hit 27 home runs this year.
And be allowed to play enough even.
Right. How do you
you're you're saying a massive heater, the bat would have to be lively enough to stay in.
Stay in the lineup for that much time. So I agree. I like the Palka comparison because I think that's, to me, one of the players that he compares to best.
Yeah. On the other hand, sorry, go ahead, MS.
No, I was just looking up some numbers to see how many plate appearances it took Daniel Palka to hit that many home runs, and he had 449 plate appearances, and so far, so far in 2022, Sheets has had 75. His numbers with 3 home runs. So I'm not a really a great math guy, but that could you'll get to maybe 21, 22, maybe if he continues at this pace and he gets these amount of bats. His 2021, no, wasn't so great either. But I do not know. That was just me trying to throw some numbers in there. So Wally looks impressed.
All right. So fellas, let's talk about the other night. Probably the worst loss that we've ever attended. I think it was so soul crushing to watch that game. You had the huge lead. You bring in Tanner Banks. It's one thing I want to talk about here real quick. There was a lot of people going, why didn't Tony bring in Liam at the start of the night? Because you were killing the team, and he's pitched 5 days in a row. Right. So you don't bring him in. If Tony would have done that, and even if they won that game, so let's say they bring in Liam and they win that game, the next day when it's 4-1 and Liam's unavailable, people would lose their minds. You would be pissed off that that they pitched Liam the day before and made him unavailable for the next day when it was close. So they did the right thing. They should be putting in a guy who needs to get some innings in, who's pitched well, who then pitches not terribly, but the fielding just didn't exist for him.
Yep.
That was all fine. I get the idea of like, hey, you shouldn't have had Liam get up and then sit and then get back up. That seems minor in the calculus of all of this. Like the team shit all over themselves. Like that is what happened. Everyone who could fail on the team decided to fail. That's how you lose that kind of lead. So utterly disappointing. Unlucky in some respects.
Right.
Not life-shattering though. Right? So let's try and put this in perspective of maybe a movie or a TV show or a life event even that you've had that compares to this, right? So I'll get you started with an example. Okay. Like, Beef, you're a big North Dallas 40 fan.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah,
movie
I love
North
that
Dallas
movie.
40.
Yeah,
it's a lot of trials and tribulations for Nick Nolte throughout the movie.
Yep.
The movie's climax, he makes this incredible catch. Should tie up the game.
Yep.
And then they botched the extra point.
Yes.
That's how that felt. It was like, oh yes, this is what we've been waiting for. All these runs, this looks great. And then it's like, by the way, we're going to ruin this for you right now. Right as soon as you started to feel good, we're going to ruin it for you. My Sox Summer, give me an example here.
So I saw this, and I once again, Loaf is masterful at making these, and I was like, the first series I thought of, and like the ending of that game coincided exactly with me for a series on HBO called 6 Feet Under. Alan Ball was the guy that wrote it, directed it, and all that. He did True Blood. He did American Beauty. So if you like that kind of style, that's his thing. And I don't know if people watch the show, but like at the beginning of the family ran a funeral home. At the beginning of the every episode, they would show somebody's untimely death, and then those people would go into the funeral home and they would tell their story. And then you kind of like Dexter's the gay brother, but you don't know he's gay. And then which was very confusing for me because I was watching. It's like Breaking Bad. You're watching Walter White, and you're like, but you were Malcolm's dad. Like, what?
What happened?
And the same thing with David. It's like, you were this nice gay guy that dated a police officer, and now you're murdering everybody. Like, so that series was awesome, and I loved it until the final episode. And I wanted to make sure I had to check some things. It was 5 seasons, and I feel like they got. All of a sudden they got canceled. So they had to really quick, pop this out. So what did they do in the final episode? Killed every fucking person that was ever on the series. You're watching the whole thing and everyone's like, oh, this was groundbreaking. This was great. Like one of the best finales ever. And you're like, no, man, I've spent 5 years watching this shit. And you're killing them off in 32 seconds. It was just we had a great part of the game. We scored an immense amount of runs. We had a huge lead. We were fucking sitting comfy. We're just like, this is great. We are back, baby. We are 100% back. And then one guy just went out and just destroyed everything, and it was just like, yeah, it's like watching all your favorite people die, in within an hour and a half. It was just brutal. So yeah, that's my go-to. The season finale of 6 Feet Under. You guys should check it out. It's on streaming platforms. It's really good.
I disagree with the double doink in the comments.
Yeah, you want to put that back
because I feel like that ended a season, man. That was like a gut punch, and your season was over. You couldn't do anything about it for a year, So you're just that's what you just got to deal with. This is you just got to deal with this for 24 hours, and then
and then you're back to it.
Then you're back,
again, right?
Would you say so? The amount of disappointment, though, I think if you're going to go with the double doink, is
it was huge
following year. You're like, oh, well, they're going to be good now because they were really good here, and then the next year happens, and you're like, oh fuck. That's how it kind of felt.
I agree with you, MSS, and also Treasy. I think the hype was this team's going to the Super Bowl. This is got a Super Bowl defense, all this shit, and then they played kind of you didn't have the in game, you didn't have the hype. Oh, they're whooping their ass or anything. They were playing a shitty game, and that you thought they were going to squeak it out and get it, and then the disappointment came through there. But the disappointment was more like the arc. And I agree with My Sock Summer. Then it's followed through the next year with them shitting all over themselves. So you're like, oh man, it got worse as you got further away from it. Like, oh fuck, we really fucked up our chances there.
Yeah, that was your one shot, and like that's why I feel like it's not quite the same. Right?
People are upset about you spoiling stuff out here. My sex.
You know what? I was okay. So I'm going in
out for like 40 years.
6 Feet Under. I feel like ended in 2005. Yes, 2005. It's been 17 years since the finale. I feel like it's completely okay to talk about. So, and also,
Doughboy know the Sox won the World Series in 05. He hasn't seen it yet.
One episode, you kind of know how every episode's gonna go because somebody fucking dies. Like, and they're like, "Hey, this is the last episode ever." What are they gonna be like? Yeah, you don't know what happens to people. Like, no, they're gonna show you how they all fucking die. So, like, but I know you. Don't
sure, Jan.
Don't fucking mess with me. I'm on a good one right now. So.
Give me one.
I got one for you. For me, this loss was like, I don't know if you guys remember in the old days when you had Nintendo and you'd be playing a season of like Super Tecmo Bowl or something like that, or some game where you had like a season long thing, and you get like a really big win and you're really excited and you're pumped up about it. And then you fuck up and turn the machine off without saving it. So you lose that win. Like the win was there. You had won. And then because you didn't save the goddamn thing, you got to go back and you got to replay that fucking game. That's how that felt in the stands. I was like, we were celebrating, having a good time, fucking grab ass, and like it's 8-2. We got this locked up. And next thing you know, that fucking game was tied 8-8, and it was like being in the funeral home. Everyone was quiet as fuck in our section. And we had a little bit of like, oh, okay, well, they could still come back. But no one believed it. Everyone was like, yeah, they could come back, but we knew we were toast.
Yeah,
I agree with Carmen Mike Sox. Omar getting taken out in the wire is a great example of something that was soul crushing like that.
Beef, I like that one because you could come back from that pretty quickly, but at that moment it's just like, oh my god, this is terrible.
It's like throw the controller. Like that's how pissed you are when you do that.
So I got one more for you, Beef, and this one should hit close to home for you. So my 21st birthday,
yep.
You took me out. We were staying at your place because you lived up on the north side at the time. There's a bunch of bars by you. So we went out. We went to see some bands. I think we went to the Elbow Room. And I had, I don't know, like 20 shots or something. I had like a million beers. Like I'm like, it's your 21st birthday. You just drink incredibly. And so Beef's like, all right, I think it's time to go. It's like 2:30 in the morning or whatever it was. We walked back to your place. I walk up all the flights of your apartment, and I'm like, we get through the door. Like, this is how, I made it, right? I made it through. Everything's fine. And I throw up on your wall.
Right as soon as you get in the apartment, yes.
And it's because everything up until that point was amazing. Everything went off without a hitch. I'm walking home on my own 2 feet, walked all up your stairs, get in there, and then I ruined everyone's night. But you know what? By the next evening, we're all back at it. So we're all right.
That's right. One bad moment. No big deal. I thought it was kind of funny. You remind me of that apartment and you walk up the 4 flights of stairs. I remember we had taken our friend Ram out for his birthday, and he was drunk as fuck. And you and I kind of carry him up those 4 flights of stairs. And then we go to open the door, but we both let go of him at the same time. And he just goes tumbling down on the landing. Like he didn't fall all the way down the stairs.
I thought he was going to go down every flight of stairs.
And I'm opening the door, and you're standing there next to me. We're both turning around almost in slow motion as he goes tumbling to the ground. Almost made it.
We stayed out until I think like 5:30 in the morning that night, and I remember we went to Golden Nugget because it was right by your house, and we're walking back from Golden Nugget, and Ram is just walking down the street, and he just like points at this person. He's like, "Hey, old man, it's my birthday," and it was like a 70-year-old woman. And I was like, all right, we need to throw you down a flight of stairs now.
Oh shit!
That's good.
Oh man, you know what? As fun as that is, My Sock Summer. You know it's even more fun.
It's not fun at all. But
watching a video ad from Beef Loaf.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on a live stream right now and haven't subscribed, make sure you tickle the undercarriage of that subscribe button and get on board. If you've already subscribed and are watching the show, talking smack about MSS's internet and generally meat gazing at Treasy E and I, please smash that like button in the face. If you are listening on the podcast feed and have never enjoyed the eroticism that is the YouTube version of this show, come to youtube.com/FromThe108 and hit that subscribe button. Our previous goal was 1,000 subscribers. We're currently at 1,100 plus. That's going to allow us to make minimum wage for about 1 hour per month if we do a full podcast schedule. You just can't beat that. So get your friends, your family, your dog, everyone to subscribe and allow the 108 to fulfill the dream of becoming YouTube thousandaires. I love you.
Guys, do a little more baseball talk, guys.
Hey, Trezo, before we get into this second group of baseball talk real quickly, I'd love for My Sock Summer to go through quickly the details of Wally Money buying the jersey for Brewhan Luke. The blog that Brewhan Luke put out on FromThe108.com. One of the funniest blogs I think has been on the site in a while. Like, I laughed my fucking ass off reading that thing in the draft. So why don't you take us through real quickly what's going on there?
Well, like the Sox had their garage sale. I have a blog going. I'm gonna finish that at some point and I'll put it up. And I did my haul. I put that up on the TikTok. So if you have TikTok, surprise us on the TikTok. Same as it is on the Twitter, FromThe108. That's all you got to go to. You can see some awesome TikToks about bobbleheads and about Brewhan Luke not being allowed into the craft cave. I was with Wally, but when we get into the area, right? Like, Wally has his things that he likes to get. I had the things that I like to get. I'm responsible for bobbleheads and all that stuff. And Wally goes over and just looks at jerseys like a crazy motherfucker because that's what he likes. That's his thing. So he goes directly to the jerseys. I go to the bobbleheads, get disappointed because I can only buy one Tim Anderson selfie bobblehead. And then I start just checking out what else is there and grabbing things that I like and that I know are good prices. And I'm doing that. Walter is over doing his thing. We reconnect a couple times. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I'm doing this. I found this. I got this. At the end, he goes, oh, and I found a Hamilton jersey for Luke because Luke texted us about getting that jersey. I go, oh, perfect. And so he doesn't show it to me. He has it in his bag. I'm like, we're probably fine. Like, I'm not like, and then to be 100% honest, he could have held it up for me and I would have been like, oh, yeah, sure. That's great. Looks like like I don't remember his number. Or so, like, we're good. So, like, the day goes on, we have a birthday party for my oldest and whatever's happening. And then Luke sends that message to three of us, like, in the Twitters. And it was like, dude, Wally bought me a jersey, but it's not the right guy. It's not. And so he pops it, he shoots a picture up. And then Treasy sends that picture. And that was funny, but while this is happening, and this is the 108 genius, I'm like, Luke, don't even tell him. Just fucking write a goddamn blog because it's going to crush. Like, it's a good story, and it's Wally Money's story. And the best part about it is him including the tweets between him and Wally where he's like, Wally, that's the wrong guy. And Wally, it's like if you've met Wally for 5 minutes, he will definitely drop a shit. Anyway, he does it when he's excited. He's like, shit. Or if you get him something, he's like, oh, shit. He got all these different ways to say shit. And that was definitely like, oh, shit. So, like, yeah, he fucked up. But it was funny, but there's still nice jerseys. I mean, my God, like, you go and get like a Nike authentic jersey from like a Grandstand or like Shy Sports Depot, it's like $450. So, like, to get a authentic worn on the field jersey, if you're like a small medium XL kind of guy, like you can clean up there for like $75 and you don't give a shit who's on the back, and I feel like Luke will wear it, but you got to use it to give shit to Wally. Like, that's
the main reason to wear it. The main reason to wear 100%. It is to make him realize how he screwed up Ian Hamilton is not Billy Hamilton.
Yes.
Easy.
And in his defense, it was a Nike jersey, and they've only been around for a couple years. And Wally is just kind of stupid. So, like, yeah, I mean, he has all the defense. It's a lot of defense.
Wally is great job, Wally. Great job. So speaking of great jobs, we were just talking about the Sox horrible loss, and we're going to do this in two parts. So we're going to go negative first, which is pretty easy to do. But what from that White Sox loss has you more terrified than you were? Like, what part of that got you more scared about this team than you were previously? And in my Sox summer, you could kick it off here.
The thing that like first comes to mind, and it's something that we've discussed, and I think it's probably true now. We had an elite bullpen allegedly in 2021, and then we went out and made it more elite, in sense, right? And it now doesn't seem to be so elite. And you're like, okay, well, what's happening here? Like, our starting pitching seems to be like top notch, top banana. Like they're putting up their end, and then these guys aren't. So that is the biggest thing that is like kind of kicking to me. I mean, Joe Kelly looked awesome that night, like that Monday night.
He did look really good.
I mean, major rager alert. He was awesome.
He's doing some weird Johnny Cueto stuff too, like his
mixing
motion.
up
He's like
the motion.
Slow, he's like stopping and like doing like some. He's doing a little shimmy that makes the women in
shimmy. Right. That was brought up twice that night. So I like it. That's that part. I liked him out there, but I'm really still concerned about the bullpen. Like even more so than I was before, because it wasn't like it was a 2-run lead. It was a 7-run lead. And like you're like, oh, you got to be able to hold a 7-run lead. Like I feel like the three of us could probably potentially hold a 7-run lead if we tried really hard and did massive amounts of coke.
My Sox summer, how much cocaine do you think the average bullpen does in a year?
A lot. I mean, a lot. Like I'm not a direct line, to Colombia to get the cocaine, right? Like it's a nice local manufacturer resell opportunity, somewhere. They're like, what do you do? He's like, I supply cocaine to major league bullpens across them.
Like on a scale,
good business. Yeah.
On a scale of Ron Washington trying it for the first time when he was 70 and Tony Montana, where are we at cocaine wise with an average bullpen?
Probably like a George Bush. Like he says, like if George Bush, like he's like, oh yeah, I only did it like 3 times, but that means like 300 times over like a 6-year period.
That's like the inflation. Yeah, that's right.
You don't find God that quickly not doing cocaine like amounts, like tons, a lot, right? Like you don't just all of a sudden go from like fucking bitches and doing all this other stuff to like lockdown, like, hey, this is my lady. I love Jesus, like without like tons of booger sugar. Like that. That's the only way to find Jesus. I know another guy that found God on an acid trip. So like this is legit stuff, folks. Like you can't learn this in books, but like it's legit.
It's real life here.
You are finding Jesus, God, something. Satan, like you will find some mythical creature that will teach you about life.
We should cut this part of My Sox Summer Talking and put it on Facebook. It'll get 1 billion views. People will be like, "Hey, did you know this about cocaine? You could go to heaven doing cocaine."
Cocaine is directly responsible for him becoming the president. I mean, he found people love God. They voted for God, and look at that.
Beef. What are you more terrified about now?
I mean, it just reinforced itself on Monday night, and it's continued on. It was the same thing again last night. It was not something that improved last night for my money. I'm terrified about Yasmani Grandal. He fucking sucks right now. And we need to get a lot out of Yasmani Grandal. I don't think the White Sox are a serious contender if Yasmani Grandal is not like a top 5 hitting catcher. And he's just been horrible. They've put a lot of resources in having him. He's a big edge behind the plate as far as the offense goes. He's one of their big edges hitting against right-handed pitching, and he's one of their edges when it comes to stabilizing the walk rate for the team. He's doing basically none of that. Starting to do a little bit of the walking, but the rest of the stuff has been pretty rough. He's a key cog in the entire fucking offense. And when you don't go out there and sign the big lefty stick, what you're saying is you depend on him, and to a lesser extent, Yohan Moncada, to carry all that shit. And Yasmani Grandal ain't carrying a goddamn thing so far. He's been horrible, and I'm really getting worried about him. Last year, he had the slow start, but we all knew it was the knee, right? He was coming back from the knee. This year, he ain't got no knee that we know of, and ain't shit going right for the dude. And we really need it like in a hurry. We need him to come back in a hurry. We can't expect him to have the weak, start of the season and then go gangbusters like he did last year and have a career year. We just need steady, decent Yasmani back.
And Beef, part of this problem too, and this is actually probably why he's walking more, is the way that the lineup is constructed now. He's getting a lot of guys behind him that can't hit, right? He's basically got the bottom of the order behind him. So why would a pitcher really even throw him a good pitch to hit, right? Because you're like, okay, he's gonna watch these pitches that are on on the periphery. So I'll throw him there. If I get the strikes, great. If I don't, I face Josh Harrison or Adam Engel now.
Right.
Like everyone's going to take that
Easy
bet.
trade. Yep.
And so that just feels why he's getting more walks to me. It doesn't feel like it's going to, like he's just improving at the plate or anything. It just feels like he's getting less pitches to hit because they know that there's no risk behind him. So I think, if he was the guy that Tony, like if Tony moved him up in the lineup and you're like, dude, this guy hasn't been hitting, why are you moving up in the lineup? It's because you're going to say, hey, if you're only going to walk, I need like Luis Robert behind you, right? Like I need Jose Abreu behind you.
Right, and Tony seems to like to do that. He likes to put a guy, if a guy's struggling, he'll put a guy up there in a spot where he knows he's going to get pitched to. And he'll take a little of the, kind of the negative EV, if you will, of a single game with the hopes to break the guy out, to get the guy some pitches to see and to improve his overall, kind of forecast for the year.
I mean, now the other thing that could help him is Andrew Vaughn coming back or Eloy coming back or someone that you could put right behind him in the lineup and keep him kind of pushed back, right? You start extending that lineup, it's going to look a lot nicer. But right now you don't got that. And so Yasmani he's showing that he doesn't have it right now, which is unfortunate because I like Grandal.
Me too.
I think it'll come back, but I agree with you, Beef. It's a little worrisome because of the age, because of the position. You could fall off a cliff.
And just manufacture better at bats. Like even just fouling off five pitches of like every time he's up, like just building up that pitch count.
Well, MSS too. I would
to make a mistake for the next guys too.
No, I'd agree with that, and I also would think like even if he just starts hitting the ball harder, right? Like let's say okay, he hits the ball hard and he makes a few outs, fine, but like. Anyway. That's what I'm looking for from yes, but he hasn't even really been doing much of that, like hitting the ball hard. It's just like maybe if it was bad, like Abreu was hitting into some bad luck, right? Abreu's hitting the ball hard, but he's not getting Abreu results in general right now. Like okay, I can deal with that, but Yaz is not putting that together. And you're right, he's not putting together the at bats either. I agree with Treasy. Those at bats are not like that. My Sox summer, he's not fighting off pitches to work those walks. He's getting pitched around basically. I agree with you guys. I think that's absolutely so. This is a concern. They can't have this kind of Yaz like through the summer. That's a big problem for them.
I agree.
So if I'm looking at this, here's the thing that's concerning to me is that we've got too many guys that can only do one thing, right? Like so you see, and here's the problem. I'm always a guy who is going to say, I'm willing to trade some defense for some offense, right? And then also be fine. I'm going to have one guy on the roster, towards the end of the batting order that is there purely for defensive play, but he could hit a little bit, right?
Right.
We're so polar on this, right? Like it's like you have like a Reese McGuire who, I'm sure he's a great defender, but like
the general,
the general, you've got to be able to at least hint at like getting a hit. Like you can't just be an automatic out, right? Which he is right now. And if you put in a left-hander to face Reese, like Tony should be able to, like the way you could point to first base and say, I'm sending this guy to first base. Tony should be able to just point to the dugout and say, we're skipping this guy.
We'll take the out. He's just let him sit down.
There's more chance of a double play than anything. We're just going to put him on the back. And then on the other side, though, like I said, I'm willing to trade defense for offense, but so bad on defense, just so bad that like you're just like your offense is somehow not making up for how bad the defense is, and you're seeing it at every position, right? And the problem is too, you know, you got Yohan back, and like he makes an error, right? Like that's a guy that is supposed to like vastly improve your defense, and he's out there making an error. You got no chance in the outfield anymore because you're putting Gavin Sheets in one position. You got AJ Pollock who's running out there like he's got one leg. Like just like it's so polarizing. Of like we got these guys and they're supposed to be really good at one thing and then mediocre at the other, and instead they're mediocre at hitting and really bad at fielding, or mediocre at fielding and really bad at hitting. So like that's like across the roster. And so that's kind of what scared me watching that defense in the ninth inning is like, this isn't unusual. This is kind of like it's all at once. It's all at once. And so that part's unusual. Right. That's the unlucky part, that it all happened in the same inning. But like there wasn't one guy that made an error that inning that you were like, I never see this guy make an error. You know? Like it was just like, oh yeah, this is how this gets.
It was like our years with Adam Dunn as a DH, and he's not hitting. And you're just like, but you're the designated hitter. Like you've been designated as the guy that's supposed to hit. So if you don't hit, like, what the fuck is your value right now? Like that's all you need to do. You're not cluttered with going out in the field or worrying about others. Right. Oh, no. You're worried about just hitting a goddamn ball. If you don't hit that ball, you have failed your job. That is your only job, and you have failed. Like that drives me. That would drive me nuts. That fucking Adam Dunn.
So I just saw our guy Senor Sox jumped in. He's late to the party, but you know what, Senor Sox, just for you. Got a Tecate right here.
Yes.
Ready to go, baby. I hope you've tried. I hope he's tried, and I hope he's turned at least a little bit on it. Maybe he's going to tell me I had Tecate. It sucked. But guys, you know it's a little late in the night. We've had some cocktails. We're feeling good. No more negativity. No, let's not be sad about this. The team's doing well. They're turning it around.
Yep.
I want to know what came out of that loss that makes you more optimistic about this team. Beef, I'll start with you, buddy.
I love it, man. The weather is warmed up and the baseball is flying out of the ballpark. And as much as I have enjoyed the White Sox when they were in their hitting drought, taking the extra base, stealing bases, and kind of doing things to manufacture runs, the beef loaf digs the long ball, okay? And I think White Sox teams need to hit a lot of home runs to win. It used to be said they needed 200 home runs. Even the team last year that didn't hit 200, hit 190 home runs. They need to be up in that stratosphere. And just to see on Monday night, we were in the ballpark, it warmed up a little bit, and those line drives were getting out of the park. Gavin Sheets and AJ Pollock, and then the Sheets again on Tuesday night.
Yeah, the Beef, they put up 9, right? I mean, like they lost, but they put up 9. You got to feel kind of good about that, right? My Sox Summer, what did you feel good about?
So the biggest thing, and I thought Loaf was going to take it, and then I was going to yell at you, Teresi, for not letting me go first in these easy baseball takes. But the biggest thing that I was like is they scored that many runs. Scoring that many runs is like, all right, this is a win, because like they've been struggling, right? Like just everything that Loaf kind of said, it's like, oh, it's cold weather, it's blah blah blah. Oh, so and so's hurt, but yeah, this team is still manufactured to score runs. And it did its job, and it did what it was supposed to do. So it was like, that was refreshing. Like, that was something to see. You're like, yes, this is how it's supposed to happen. Like, they're supposed to actually hit the shit out of this ball, and, like, it should just be plowed, and no one shouldn't be worrying about it, So, yeah, that was my big thing. What about you, Chorizo?
It was some little things in there. It was some little things in there that I felt like were good decisions, right? Like, we can credit this partially to Josh Nelson yelling to Burr, but the way that Burr pitched Jose Ramirez late in the game, where he was like, I'm willing to walk this guy, but I'm going to pitch all kind of over the place and see if he swings at some. He nearly struck him out.
Yeah, he did.
That was almost a strikeout. And so I thought that was a really well pitched at bat. And like, I like that the team, like, and this is probably a Katz and La Russa thing, saying like, look, don't give him anything to hit, but walk him if you need to. But let's still try and get it out here. I appreciate that kind of risk taking, but also playing it safe with one of their best hitters.
Right.
And then, I hate bunting, but they bunted at the right time. Like they bunted it, like they put down a bunt when you should put down a bunt.
Absolutely.
And
it didn't work.
It should have worked, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. And then you had Moncada up in the situation.
Yeah, less than 2 outs. He's got to produce there. Moncada fucked up. He's got to produce.
He missed out on that.
Yeah.
Angle had when he had a really nice at bat. Jose Ramirez just made a tremendous play.
Yeah.
Right. There was a lot of these things that towards the end of the game where I was like, these guys did the right thing. They played it the way that they should have. They did it as well as they could. And it just didn't work out. And those things are going to work out. Those things are going to work out from time to time, and it's going to look really good. There's going to be those moments like that. That was the moment where at the end of that game, I felt like they could have won at any inning of that game. Like I felt like they were in position to win. They were put in position to win, and they just failed to execute by just a little bit. And that's going to swing the other way so many times throughout the season. You just like to see that those guys, when they're put in those pressure positions, they can handle it. And these are the kind of end of the roster guys that did, right? The Adam Engels, the Ryan Burrs. Like, you like to see that. You like to see that those guys can play under pressure.
Loaf, do you have anything else to add?
I do not, man. I'm just happy about home run balls. I just love balls going into the stands. That's all I really
love. You love balls just in general. You know what? Another thing, Chorizo, and last night, it's probably a positive that came out of Monday, but there was no wave last night. Like the Sox were winning, and like nobody did the wave. And like I threw that tweet out there on Monday. I was like, see, this is what happens when you do the wave. We lose an 8-1 lead, and it sucks. And so last night, when the ninth started and we got down again to 2 outs, and everyone's standing up, and then we walk, and then there's a hit, and then I yelled at everybody to sit the fuck down. Everyone sat the fuck down. So that going forward, that's a positive that the My Sox Summer can communicate with the 108 and request that they do something, sometimes a little rudely, even though I was high, sit down, and people do it. So people listened to me, and they did sit down, and we won the game. So that might be another positive. Listen to My Sox Summer, and don't do the wave.
MSS, two things there. One, it was an 8-2 lead. They never led 8-2.
I'm sorry.
And also, I heard you were being violent at the game. So that's a lot of people were saying you were getting a little out of pocket, and they thought if Treasy and I were there, you wouldn't act up like that. And they're correct. We'll slap you around if you start acting like that.
Not necessarily true. I was not violent. I was just yelling, but I wasn't yelling meanly. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go kick your ass, Nor was I yelling profanities at people that weren't even at the game. I wasn't doing either one of those two things. I was just yelling. Like, sit down, please.
I'll tell you, Beef, Boston had a gross amount of wavage. There's no question. And that was the one thing I didn't like about the telecast. They were trying to catch the wave. Like they're trying to catch people doing the wave, and they're like missing stuff. Yeah. They're like missing actual baseball stuff to try and catch the wave. And it was like really showed how stupid the wave is. It's like, oh, well, sorry, we missed that pitch. We missed that pitch because we were trying to watch the wave. And it's like, yeah, that's why it's stupid.
Yeah, Treasy, you're right. The wave is for stupid people, and as I mentioned at the front of the show today, stupid people, you just want to do the opposite of whatever they're doing. Let them do their stupid thing.
Yes, 100%. Agreed. Came full circle, baby. Yes.
All right, fellas, it's time for the thank yous. My Sox Summer, who you thinking?
All right, so as everybody knows, I put up a post yesterday, and I said, hey, my daughter's trying to raise $50 on a walkathon for her Catholic school because, someone's got to pay the light bill. Might as well be my daughter. Okay, that's just how it goes over there. Yep. I want to thank all the people that generously donated to her. She raised $600, which, my God, if this is not a fucking record for a pre-K3 student in going into a bullshit walkathon at the end of the year, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I went early in the morning and I gave him the first check, when I dropped the kid off. And then when I picked the kid up, I gave him another check because people started donating after I retweeted and said, thank you. People kept donating. So I had to finally delete that so people would stop donating because I'm like, I don't want this to go way too hard. So I want to thank the people. And this is just an order of they came in. Kenny, Pete, Nomnison, Sal, Tom, Sean, Shane, Jared, Jack, Emily, Nathan, John, Tim, Stokes, Pete, Brian, Lisa, Wally, Zoe, Roxy, Will, White Sox Dave, and Chris, which is Chirizi, and Brendan. I appreciate you guys very much. And so does my daughter, who kind of understood that she raised a lot of money, but not really. So you did a great job. She's going to have a shirt. So she's very excited about having the shirt.
Beef, who are you thinking, buddy?
I have to go ahead and thank the aforementioned stupid people first because they provided me a lot of fun today. Secondarily, I want to thank Josh Nelson and Jim Margulis for inviting us to do the playback live stream last night, which was a lot of fun. Treasy and I got a chance to stretch our legs on some different content stuff and go in some weird angles, and we had just a great time bantering over the game, talking about the game, serious points, and then doubling back on crazy shit that we were just into or thought about. So I love the format, and I'm looking forward to doing more of those. I'm looking forward to getting this big white bear in there with us as well.
Absolutely. How
about you?
So I want to thank the people that threw the tips in tonight because I saw that this was something we can add, and I thought, man, it'd be funny if we just did some drinks or something. Or if we told someone to shut up, because I even had the clock to go for someone to shut up. But
you should have done that with my shirt off.
Of course,
I put on my phone.
The commenters come up with even better stuff, right? I mean, that's one of the parts that I love about this show so much is when we started doing this on the YouTube live, the commenters right away were so entertaining and so much fun to interact with that I was like, this is the best way to do this. This is the only way to kind of do this. And the commenters are not stopping right now. They're still going. And so yeah, I love the commenters and we've kicked it up a little bit with this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I just want to thank people who jumped in right away and got My Sock Summer to take his shirt off.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what everyone's been thirsting for since we started these live YouTubes. See my nipples. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you did it 40 pounds later, not 40 pounds before. So thank you.
Well, that's it, everyone. Thank you. We will see you at the park this weekend, assuming the Sox didn't all get COVID and can't play. So Thursday night, it'll be the first game of a 4-game set. We're going to have the Sunday soak on Sunday. We're going to have a special guest in there too. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll see you at the park. Thanks, everyone.